Yesterday, we read an article about the 10 traits of highly successful people. We read that article, we talked about what the traits were, and we created an anchor chart with those traits. And we even referenced which traits of the 10 we thought were the most important for creating an individual who was resilient and able to persevere and showed grit. And we talked about what each trait looked like, sounds like, and feels like. Today, we're going to grow our thinking about those traits of successful individuals by returning to our study of our exceptional individuals. So just as a reminder, we each chose somebody that we felt was passionate, showed perseverance, and somebody who we felt was interesting. And today we're going to return to our study of those special individuals, and we're going to take a moment to think about your unique individual. And you're going to ask yourself, what traits from our list yesterday help to contribute to your individual success? So you want to think about, of the 10 traits, and feel free to reference the list as you're working, which of those traits were influential in contributing to your individual's success? So take a moment and just think of one that you think might be important. Okay, did we all get to think of one? Give me a thumbs up if you thought of one trait that you think was important to your individual. Maybe you thought of self-reliance, maybe you thought of self-confidence, maybe you thought of connection. Give me a thumbs up if you can think of one trait that connected or was exhibited by your individual. Sometimes it can be difficult to explain, though. We can understand that our individual exhibits those traits, but sometimes it's very difficult for us to explain how our person or how people exhibit those traits. When I'm having trouble with a difficult task related to reading or related to thinking about my reading, I find it helpful to watch someone else model the type of thinking that I need to do. So today I'm going to ask that you watch me as I model the type of thinking that you are going to do. So you are going to need to think about the individual that you've been researching, and you're going to need to choose 3 of the traits from our list of 10 from yesterday, and you're going to think of 3 of those traits that are the most significant or most important in terms of contributing to that individual's success. And what you're going to do is you're going to identify a trait, and you're going to explain, using an example from your evidence, from your sources, how your individual exhibits or shows or contributes to that attribute. So let's try this one together. I want you to watch me as I do my thinking together. So we did our anchor chart, our example practice mentor with Michael Jordan. And we talked a lot about Michael Jordan. We looked at his exemplar. We looked at some of his key attributes of his biography. So today I'm going to read this little piece to you, and I'm going to show you the type of thinking that I want you to be doing with your character today. So please follow along as I read to you. Michael Jordan is one of the most recognizable professional athletes ever, but many people do not know much about him. Michael Jordan is the most decorated NBA player ever. He played baseball and had 2 Olympic gold medals. Michael Jordan had many nicknames, quote-unquote Air Jordan, quote-unquote MJ, quote-unquote His Highness. He doesn't let the recognition go to his head because he is known for reminding news reporters about the strong efforts of his teammates. So now I'm going to think about what attributes or what traits from yesterday's list are exhibited in this small piece of my source material. So when I was reading, I kept thinking to myself, what makes Michael stand out from the others? How is he unique? One of the things that I noticed was that the author called him the most decorated NBA player ever. And I know that that means that he won a lot of awards. This makes him unique. This also makes him successful. As I kept reading, I noticed that the author mentioned that he did not let the recognitions he got, or awards, or games that he won, go to his head. This is a figure of speech. This means that no matter how much success he had, he did not let it affect him. This made me think that he is humble, and he wasn't fazed or affected by his awards or success. I remember that humble is one of the traits from our list, so I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to say that Michael Jordan is humble because he doesn't let the awards make him think that he is better than other people. It doesn't affect the way that he treats other people. Notice how I put that into my own words to show my thinking. Also, I'm going to lift that last line from the text to support my thinking, where he said he doesn't let the recognition go to his head because he is known for reminding reporters about the strong attributes or efforts of his teammates. Also, I'm going to put this great thinking into my Nearpod note catcher so that I can use it later in my presentation. I'm going to note the attribute that he shows, which is humility or being humble. I'm going to lift that last line, which is an example of him being humble, not recognizing or letting the recognition go to his head, and recognizing the attributes of his classmates. And I'm going to explain how this shows or contributes to his success. I also noticed that he recognizes his teammates' efforts. This seems important because not all athletes, do this. This shows that he is cooperative, that he is kind, and that he is thoughtful. While those attributes were not on my list yesterday, I do think it's important to recognize them. He seems to work well with others, which means that he has a good connection with other people. That attribute was on our list yesterday. And that he appreciates the good work from those people around him. I'm going to add that to my thinking in my Nearpod chart today. And notice, just from this small piece of text, I've already noted at least 2 attributes, and I've supported them with examples and explanations of my thinking around what the attributes were that contribute to his success. So now, I've opened the chat, and I want you to think about, what did you see me do with my piece of text? What did you see me think about in relation to my Michael Jordan exemplar? What did you notice me notice? What attributes did I find? And when I found those attributes, what did I do with them? Take a moment, the chat is open. Please text and chat with one of your classmates about those questions. What did you see me do? What did I notice? What did I do with the attributes that I noticed? Please share that now with a classmate.